not waiting. I don't make the whole crowd sound. That's a thing I do. All right. Social Awkward with Evan Wexel. This all came together very, very short last minute, first minute, because last weekend, the Running Man came out, reboot, whatever you want to say it is. And my guest loved it. And he's from Great Neck also. And you can't beat that. Great Neck, Long Island. And he loved it. I thought it was amazing. Maybe we'll have a special pop in. But let me bring in, I guess, entertainment, sports, movie aficionado, maven, Spencer Jawitz. What's up, dude?
Hey, Evan, great to see you, my man. It's been a long time.
Yes, very long. This is going to be our longest conversation we've ever had.
Yeah, probably, but it's all good. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, the jersey significance is that because we're both from Great Neck, I feel like these are good Great Neck South colors to wear.
Okay, you do know I'm a Blazer, right?
Oh, right. You're from North. Were they the same colors?
Same colors and all of that. I mean, but the funny thing is that I went to Lakeville for elementary school.
No way.
So, but I disappeared for a number of years. My family got transferred to London, and I came back for high school. My parents decided to move to Kings Point, so I ended up going to North. But I hung out at TS all the time anyway, because all my friends from elementary school were in TS. I went to sleepaway camp with your wife and her cousins, so I've known your wife for over 30 plus years. It's just crazy how things work out.
Right. I only remember our streams crossing. Yeah, probably at Theater South events, or like if I was playing in the musical, but also like Levels was a big thing in Great Neck. I guess.
Yeah, I was very much involved with Levels, and obviously hanging out at TS with a lot of people. Did a lot of theater with people from your year.
Okay.
So for like Dara, Frank, and
George Lucas,
those and Phil Haspel and that crew.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, then obviously Levels. I did a lot of stuff over the years in various shows with like Larry Cohan and that crew, Janet Jacobson and Jordan as well. And it's amazing how like our lives parallel and how big people don't realize that Great Neck is so big that they have to pretty much have 2.5 high schools, if you want to count village school as well. But we all know each other from various things, whether it been from, PAL, soccer, or, or theater or anything of nature. And I mean, honestly, I was always over at South because one, you had the better theater department, and two, you had the opera show every year too. So to me, as another theater music geek, it was always nice to hang out over at South as opposed to North. North, I always said back in the 90s was the New York equivalent of Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
And in the band during the football games, they made us play the theme, and all of us like, we don't want to play it. No. We don't want to do that. You're hitting too close to home.
Yeah. I feel, it was definitely, I just remember like athletically, I feel like the remark about the sports is we lacked mental toughness because we were from Great Neck. I think
the funny thing was about that is that up until I would say just after college, I never said I was from Great Neck at all, period.
Wow.
Because of the stigma.
Okay.
Honestly. And once I was when I was interviewed for colleges, and I was at American University in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And I said, I'm Spencer Jawitz. I'm from Long Island, New York. And I hear a person behind me says, I'm also from Long Island, New York. And I look behind me, it's Sana Lishow. So I'm like, what the hell? We both said we were from Long Island. We both didn't say we were from Great Neck. And it wasn't until like my late 20s or 30s, I was like, something, I don't care anymore. Who cares what the stigma is?
Yeah.
I don't live there. I don't plan to go back to Great Neck. So who cares?
Have you been back to reunions since like 10 years, 20 years?
So we had the 30th a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So I didn't graduate from North. I went off to boarding school for senior year to postgrad. So after junior year, I transferred to a Connecticut prep school. But I was invited to the 30th. And unfortunately, I couldn't go because I actually had meetings at Lucasfilm in San Francisco. So, and the funny thing was that they forgot that I was even was part of the class because I didn't graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But I had so many friends there. So they're like, all right, you're getting invited to the 30th. And I got my invitation for the 30th. And I'm like, I got to be on the other coast. There's no way in hell I'm going to miss a meeting at Lucasfilm, and tours and stuff. So 40th maybe. But I have not been to any of the reunions. I would love to go back to the reunions. I have, fond memories of, my time in Great Neck with, even with, the junior players and Theater North and,
Sure.
Yes, and the opera and all that. And, keep it. What's the great thing about social media these days is that I can keep in contact with everybody for my entire life. And we all know each other doing. And, if we're in town, we always meet up. Can't meet up at the diners anymore because there's no diners in Great Neck anymore.
Seven Seas closed, but
I was there. Yeah, I was there the last night before it closed. I didn't even know. My wife and I drove down to see my parents. My parents still live there.
Yeah.
And we went to Seven Seas, and they're like, "Oh, we're closing tomorrow." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So there's nothing.
There was a Greek place I think it tried to become, and then that didn't do well. But I think now it's like there's a diner like space back in where Seven Seas used to be.
Yeah, but see, we had the Seven Sleeves, we had Scobie. I mean, those
gone,
Limelight's gone. Like I was there a couple weeks ago to see my parents, and Limelight's gone.
Right. Squire's gone.
Frederick's has been gone for a while. Poncho's is gone.
That hurts.
Bruce's is gone. Squire Theater's gone.
Rough.
Rumor has it Daruma's disappearing. I'm like, all we're gonna have is Geno's.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, all we're gonna have is Geno's left in town.
Wow. That's all we have. Geno's and there's now I don't even know. Wallbaum's was gone. That was something.
Wallbaum's is still there.
I don't know what it is.
But our childhood is gone. Like it's I know my parents are like, why are you even still here? It's like, we got Geno's. I'm like, yeah, we got Geno's elsewhere too,
Right. So we stay. I still stay true to it. I've written like a song, Great Neck, Long Island, unreleased, but I've always like paid tribute to the town square and all that stuff. So good. But we're here because I guess you saw the new Running Man. I saw the new Running Man, and you'd obviously seen the old one.
I love the old one.
Okay.
So I absolutely adore, like, it's one of those movies that you can't forget about our childhood was The Running Man, and a movie also Demolition Man as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was hilarious because of the Easter egg in this new Running Man is they talked about in Demolition Man, the Schwarzenegger Presidential Library.
Wow.
And the dollar bills in this new Running Man was President Schwarzenegger, which was a nice homage to the original movie, but also Demolition Man as well. So I thought it was like, I read the book. The book is incredible as well. Obviously, pen named by Stephen King as Richard Bachman. But man, I went in with no expectations because I love the original one, and I still do.
Right.
But this was so good. This was so good.
I feel like it blew the original away. Like it layered it. It just layered it. Like it
layered it. Yeah. I mean, I loved it as well because a good friend of mine from the Star Wars universe, Katy O'Brian, played Lachlan in the new one.
Oh, yeah.
She was involved in the Mandalorian series. And I've done a bunch of work with her. Most recently, I did a show with her in Japan in April.
Outstanding, yeah.
And I was excited about seeing my friend up on the big screen. But everything about it was great. And then the fact that it's you can't compare the movies except for The Running Man and, Josh Brolin's character is the same name as Richard Dawson's character
but
in the original movies. But otherwise, it's completely different movie. You don't have Dynamo. You don't have Fireball. You don't have like all those, corny like gimmicks. If you want to go talk about wrestling, they had those gimmick hunters in the first movie.
Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is in 2008-ish, I want to say, on Sci-Fi Network, I did a show called Chase, where I was called a runner, and there were hunters trying to get me, and we were running around. They did this in different locations, but on the Universal backlot, it was pretty much this setup, like where there were like some of us just running around following clues. We had a cell phone. Producers were following us around and filming us and interviewing us. And what I did is I bowed out. I just took like the easy money and just like cut out early. And it was an episode where it culminated in them finding the DeLorean in someone's garage. But I think there was like, they had to reshoot the ending because there was like a snafu. how when they've, but it was like the exact same setup. Like, there's only so many people you can like avoid. Where I thought like everyone was trying to get Glen Powell in this one, but I guess it's really just the hunters.
Well, if you remember the way that like Katy O'Brian's character, spoiler alert, how she dies, she gets killed by two kids.
Right.
Literally, two kids with flamethrowers, and they won a lifetime supply of cereal. That's what their prize was for that. But the hunters are the ones who made the money.
Right. Right. So that, but I think it all tied up pretty well. And I feel like they promoted this as, obviously one guy trying to stay alive.
Right.
But maybe it wouldn't have been well received. I felt the movie was more about like the manipulation of media and the division sowed through like one thing you're watching.
I agree. I agree with you 100% with that one. I mean, obviously, the premise of the original movie was set in a not so distant future
as this one.
Yeah. So the elements of what was happening today, other than the drone mailboxes,
right,
didn't feel so dissimilar to what society is today. Like it didn't feel like, when we saw New York, we saw Boston. Right. It didn't seem like we're watching Boston in the future. It looked like we're watching Boston maybe 10 years from now, or New York 10 years from now. But the big screens was like Times Square now. It was
right.
There was nothing that was like dissimilar or like futuristic in the fact that like when we saw the original, we're like so many different elements that we didn't imagine that would be like it today.
Right. It felt like it was just on a bigger scale. Like I feel like this edition was like such a more global scale. I feel like the original one was like more like in a little like pocket in the universe where they were like conducting it. And there was this, it didn't feel like the whole world was, or at least the country was zeroed in on this guy. Where I don't know what you got from like Schwarzenegger's version, where he's I don't know how did he even like get into it in the first place?
So he was caught. And he was framed for killing a Bakersfield.
Oh, that's right. The footage. Oh, okay.
So there's footage. So basically, when he was finally caught from his prison break, which happened in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, Richard Dawson put like a bounty on his head, and they caught him at the airport trying to leave the country.
Right.
And they basically shanghaied him into being a runner.
Yeah.
And he was like, Killian, I'll be back. And he's like, only in reruns. They did not expect, Ben Richards to survive, the Running Man.
Yes. And this one was like, I feel like it was more, you could relate. I feel more people could relate to this one more. Like the whole like affordability, a kid's sick. I need a solution.
I think it hit too close to home in a lot of capacities as right now. Is that how, how the media is manipulated and social media basically runs life these days?
Yeah. And AI is just, you never know what's real and how.
Exactly. I mean, we know Skynet's watching us. But no, it is more indicative of today's society, which is scary.
Yeah.
How close to home it probably was, even though it's, obviously liberties, for Hollywood or not.
Sure.
But it was, like I said, it was still it was entertaining. I went in with no preconceived notions. I mean, you watch movies that have like remakes, reboots, and they usually are hit or miss. I mean, the last good one I would say is probably like Top Gun Maverick, which I thought that was a home run.
Yeah.
Which that could have been really bad really quickly because they usually are.
Yeah.
But I think that taking some source material and actually doing something good with it is not bad. I mean, we can talk about the same thing with Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was very honest to
the original,
and
the nostalgia.
We also have a friend who had a reoccurring character in there of Dana Dude. So it's kind of like, what the hell? So another
We're everywhere. Great Neck is everywhere.
But literally, Great Neck is everywhere. Even in places you guys don't even realize it. Yep. But the fact is that we grew up in an era where the music in the movie were so avant-garde and cutting edge that I also find that right now, in some capacities, and we'll talk about a little bit later what I do, professionally, it's kind of like the renaissance of the geek right now, where everything from our childhood is popular. So like when I'm talking to a millennial, they're like, oh my God, they're actually interested in stuff that we did. And I'm like, Yeah, but we were there when it was cool. Like now
Right.
it's pop culture. We were cultish,
Right.
in some capacity. And I love it because it just makes, it's easy to live when it's things that you recognize.
Yeah, and also just an aside, like I actually took Beckett to Tron Ares last night because I hadn't seen it it's about on the way out, but
Mhm.
I feel like that took source material and did less with it, I think, than what the Running Man did. Like, I mean, again, it was the same AI themes, how to handle machines, but I feel like with Running Man, obviously above everything else, it kept my attention so well, like
Mhm.
where you're playing along, like how would I hide from people for 30 days? And
Right.
like we're doing this with like day one of this game. We're not even like, okay, let's get these early days out of the way. Like he's in stuff like every day.
It was interesting as well as also the fact they had the like the Kardashian type
The
reality show in the
Americanos.
background with Amy Mazer playing the mother. I was
Right.
like, oh my god, this is crazy. So it was no like I said, it was indicative of society, but also made fun of pop culture today.
Yes, that was the best. I laughed a lot during I laughed a lot during that, probably the most. Just like
It was great.
because all the things they were complaining about was so fun. Um, I hope it does well. I hope there's word of mouth about it. And I hope that, because it's going to have legs wherever it goes, wherever it goes to streaming or TV and everything. I just feel like it's the kind of thing that will
I
never
hope
recede.
so. I mean, I hope so because like I read something today that it made I
Like
think like 18,
17. Yeah.
17. It was
In what?
103. But the thing is, you're coming up against Wicked next weekend.
Yeah.
So, and that was the second movie. That was movie number 2 of the week was Running
Right.
Man. So with
Right. Now
Wicked
You Can
coming out
See Me
next
3
week, it
was
might get
number
pushed
one.
down even more.
Yeah, I think the theater will be tough for it. I think if it can hang around, I think during mid-December, I think more people will see it if it's during the holidays. But what I was reading was like there was a change in leadership of Paramount, so there was never like a steady like where are we going to anchor down this picture? How are we going to promote this picture?
Right.
Or does Glen Powell have that like equity to be able to be out in front? And he totally does. Like in this movie, he totally does. I saw, like, obviously we saw Maverick. It was great. I saw him in Twisters, which
Which
again,
Katy O'Brian was in as well.
that's right. Shoot, that's right. I have to look back at that. I wasn't a fan of that movie as much.
No.
Like you're just
But
chasing from
Maverick was very, very
very
good.
well done. I think Steven Spielberg said like the movie saved the theater experience with the way things were trending.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting and seeing where things are. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about like Star Wars, and the
Sure.
first Star Wars movie in 9 years comes out next year. It's all been streaming up
in
until then.
the theater.
Yeah, in the theater.
What's the movie going to be? Let's go into this.
So The Mandalorian and Grogu comes out on May 22nd, 2026. So that's the first movie since Rise of Skywalker. It's all been streaming since then. So it's basically after season 3 of The Mandalorian. And they are right now in production of a movie called Star Wars Starfighter, which is years after Rise of Skywalker, directed by Sean Levy and starring Ryan Gosling. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. And it's not really part of the Skywalker saga, but they're trying very desperately because Star Wars is great, but it's better when you're in the theater, honestly, because you have the crowd freaking out with the fanfare from John Williams and all that. It's a different audience than watching it, on your couch watching, Mandalorian or any of those shows. Star Wars should be in the theater.
Yeah, a lot of my Great Neck South, I remember in high school, like when they re-released the original 3, like we all went to the theaters and saw it. It was cool. Like 20 of us went and then saw the movie. It was great.
But that's where Star Wars belongs, and I'm very excited that Star Wars is going back to theater. Now they're going to continue to do some, Disney Plus stuff because they should, but that should be supplemental. The theaters should always be their anchors for what they do.
Right. So then I want to know more about this. You're saying professionally, you do Star Wars stuff. You've got Star Wars events on the horizon. There's conventions all the time. What is your Star Wars? I know you were like when I was doing Wheel of Fortune, you were trying to do, I think, Wheel of Fortune Star Wars week. And I actually had someone that was on WWE week with me went on Star Wars week that week also.
So I got to the second round of that one. I think because of what I do, I kind of got bumped.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
which all right, but it was nice to be cool to be up for it in that
Yeah.
particular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Star Wars is pretty much like my passion project, side job. I actually run events and marketing for a law association outside of Boston.
Okay.
But I spend as much time, if not more time, working within the fandom of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I co-founded and run the world's largest Star Wars celebration fan page,
Oh my
which
gosh.
has
Where is
over
that?
So Star Wars Celebration is the global Star Wars convention where they make all the big announcements and panels and autograph sessions, anything of that nature. This past April, they had it in Tokyo, Japan.
Okay.
So I got to go to Tokyo, which was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
which I had never been to Tokyo before, and actually got to see the announcement with Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling come on stage for that,
wow.
which actually was really cool. So back in 2017, I joined a small little Facebook group because I started going to I wanted to go to the convention for the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, which was they call it A New Hope now, but we know it as Star Wars because there was no such thing as A New Hope back in 1977 through 83 when we first, started watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
And since then, the group has grown to over 100,000 members worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where we also now have the group. We have our own podcasting network where we have 6 to 7 shows a week. I host 2 of them.
Wow.
On top of that, we run events not only around Star Wars Celebration, but we also run events attached to other conventions, like when we get hired in to be like an after party per event where we'll bring in a whole number of guests on top of whoever the con's going to have. So we'll basically, like, I'm wearing the sweatshirt for Rebel Scum Con. We worked with them in this past year, and we brought in 13 actors that were not part of the convention to our event. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, had events and everything. Like we were headlined. We brought in our headliner for this year was Diana Lee Inosanto from the Mandalorian, but she is Bruce Lee's goddaughter, and she played Morgan Elsbeth in Ahsoka and the Mandalorian. And we're already in plans for next year. We signed a 2-year contract with Rebel ScumCon, but we're also already deep in prep for Star Wars Celebration 2027, which is the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, which is ridiculous in that capacity, that the franchise is 50 years old. But at the same time, I turned 50 next year. So it kind of like,
with you.
Yeah. So it feels weird to even say that because, I remember us, back in the high school days when we both had hair and running around and all that stuff. And now it's like, what the hell? Time for our prostate again. Right. But it's a labor of love. It's allowed me to go and travel the world, with Star Wars. I've been to London. I went to Japan this year, around the country, and just be involved. The fandom is fantastic. And also allowing me to meet like my heroes. The people they say don't meet your heroes in Star Wars. Everybody's been absolutely incredible, and they're fans themselves. So what we try to do with the VCN is like when we do our interviews or podcasts and we do watch alongs, when we bring an actor to actually watch the program with us and give us behind the scenes. To us, when we were kids, the holy trinity of Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher were unattainable to touch.
Right.
Now, so many people involved in Star Wars and people want to talk that we feel like we're that one step away from actually being in Star Wars, which is actually kind of cool.
Wow. And so for the more casual viewers who don't maybe watch everything that I mainly know the 3 prequels, the 3 main ones, and then the 3 recent ones that they just came out like a few years ago. All these additional things like Mandalorian and what's about to come out. Rogue, obviously I think was it Rogue One. I mean, I knew where that fell in the timeline, but really with these universe kind of shows, is it all just about like kind of filling in the gaps, or are we going beyond where this ends?
Is. Yeah. So Mandalorian, the season 1 takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So basically after the death of Vader and the New Republic kicks in. So it's basically the New Republic trying to start up again after the fall of the Empire, and the remnants of the Empire still fighting, as it were. Then you have the sequel trilogy, which is 30 years after Return of the Jedi, which was like the Rey, Poe, Finn, Kylo Ren storyline.
Sure.
The older Harrison, Carrie, and Mark from there. And then Andor, which is absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
And is, as a theater person, it's a slow burn drama.
Yeah.
That I was like, you really get into the storyline, the characters, and it's only 2 seasons, and it leads directly into Rogue One. Like literally, season 2 ends an hour before Rogue One starts, and Rogue One ends 10 minutes before Star Wars starts. So you can technically watch Andor all the way through to Empire Strikes Back, and it's within hours of each other.
So there's like a how-to watch guide out there somewhere on how to see.
There is, but the thing is that it really also depends upon, your relationship with Star Wars, because what's great about Star Wars is that it's generational. Everybody has an entry point. We all have the entry point of the original trilogy.
Right.
But some people, their Star Wars is the prequels. They got in, Phantom Menace. Some people got in the sequels. Some people got in the animation. So there's a jump off point for anybody. But in my opinion, the right answer is, if you're going to watch it, you're going to watch Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, then go back and then rewatch them all over again. But some people might say, no, they would rather you start episode 1 or Andor. There's a jump point for everybody. And that's what's great about the story, is that you can fill in the gaps anywhere and still enjoy what you like in the middle of it.
Because I know people were very low on when the prequels came out. Like, they didn't like Phantom Menace or Jar Jar Binks, but has that kind of like faded away? Is it now like we accept it more?
So in 2019 was the first anniversary of the Phantom Menace. And it was the first convention that Ahmed Best had ever gone to.
Right.
And
he's Jar Jar Binks?
Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
And he got a standing ovation at the convention.
Wow.
Which was incredible. And I admit that I was a prequel hater. I'm an OT guy, come on.
Aren't we all?
But I saw the love that the fandom gave him. And back in 2019, I had this realization that the parents of that time frame in 2019 were the kids of the prequels. So this is their Star Wars now. So Jar Jar Binks might be in their gateway into Star Wars. So their kids, their first Star Wars is the sequels or the Mandalorian. So I should really get over myself. George Lucas wrote these original movies for a 12-year-old kid as an answer to the Vietnam War.
Okay.
So adults are arguing and hating over a kid's property. I was kind of like, I kind of got to get over myself and my own personal ego. And now the prequels are revered, and anything that you watch today run by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are all with prequel love attached to it. Okay. So it's great. And I think that what's the same kind of garbage noise that we heard with the prequels, it's happening with the sequels currently right now.
Yeah.
And back when we had the prequels, all we had as far as social media was concerned is we had the AOL chat rooms.
Right.
That was it. We didn't have Twitter. So it got worse by the time the sequels came out. And that's what, honestly, we call the unsilent minority is, going on to social media and blasting what they don't like. But 20 years later, it's going to be revered, just like the prequels are. So it's just noise at this point.
Right. Because there was obviously a changeover, and I'm kind of doing the broad strokes here. The changeover was George Lucas sold to Disney all these. That's why we're getting all these projects now. It's because he sold, and now Disney's doing all this development with all these steps.
Oh my God, it's absolutely incredible.
And is George Lucas still connected to this as like a consultant, or is he off on a ranch somewhere? Like, because you're meeting at Lucasfilms.
So he's not at Lucasfilm. He still owns Skywalker Ranch, which is where a lot of the Skywalker sound and a lot of editing is still done over there. I actually, when I was talking about my trip to San Francisco, I actually got a tour of the ranch as well.
Wow.
He still owns that. He still owns the property Lucasfilm is on and licenses it to Disney.
Wow.
But right now, he's also building, which is coming out next year. It opens the Lucas Academy of Art, which is going to have his personal art collection from the last like 60 years of everything, not just Star Wars. He might have like, Picasso's and Rembrandt's and comic books and everything of that nature to keep the spirit of the arts alive. Which I'm hopefully going to be able to go to see it in the next year.
Where is it going to be?
It's downtown Los Angeles, right by like all the museums. So he has he's got this big thing that actually looks like the building kind of looks like it's out of Star Trek, which is kind of hilarious. But him and his wife Melody are opening up this museum that's coming out next year, which is going to be great. I know a lot of my friends who work for ILM and stuff are working on projects for the museum currently. Okay. So he's not really involved in Star Wars, and he doesn't really care, but he knows that that's what got him to the dance. So he'll always be known as the Godfather of Star Wars. He's the creator. He's he's the master. The Jedi master, if you will, the maker, as we call him. But he really has nothing to do with it. It's really Kathleen Kennedy and Disney. Wow. So whoever, if it's Iger or Chapek or whoever's involved, it's really, but creative's in a really great hands because Dave Filoni, who was basically trained by George, is a keeper of the storylines, and Jon Favreau, who's done basically everything there is to do, kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man, has probably one of the best Christmas movies of all time with Elf.
Okay.
Saves Star Wars in some capacities, but yet I remember him as Gutter from PCU. So it's kind of like, but they're keeping the franchise alive, which is great. And, I never thought Star Wars could ever be bigger than it was when we were kids, but Disney took it to its own level with, bi-coastal Star Wars parks.
Right. It's in the parks now, Disney.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So
those like the best parts.
And also, Grogu is a money printing machine. So they're not going to be killing that character off anytime soon.
Okay. How much has this replaced wrestling in your life?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Are you following wrestling at all right now?
I am following wrestling right now, mostly because obviously I have a lot of friends that are still involved in either WWE's system or in AEW. Sure. But I really am not an avid fan anymore. Wrestling, it goes through waves. You either like it or you don't like it. By the time I was done working in the industry,
because I remember you put like a big event together in Boston.
Yeah. So I did a whole bunch of promoting, in the greater New England area. Yeah. I also was a manager for a while, and I managed Fandango and Kenny Dykstra on the Indies. Kenny actually married my wife and I. He's a JOP. He's a very good friend of mine. And actually, Fandango, or JDC as he's known in TNA, just announced his retirement. Right. And Kenny actually now works. He's a producer for WWE. So you still see him on TV when there's pull aparts. Yeah. Got the kid from the Spirit Squad pulling people apart, which is great. But it's a completely different element. I think it's a nicer, more welcoming environment. Really. Mm-hmm. I'm not dogging on, I don't want to dog on the wrestling business at all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I still have friends who are very, very much involved in that, but it's way more rewarding personally and spiritually and emotionally than it ever was for me in wrestling. It's a completely different egg. In some capacities, I also felt that I didn't belong in the wrestling world. Like I latched on, like I was always trying to find my tribe, as I like to put it. Yeah. I felt I found it in Star Wars. Yeah. And I found, honestly, in the last 8 years, who I was and who I was supposed to be, as opposed to anything I else did previously, whether it be in wrestling or even in theater. But the funny thing is that no matter where I go, my theatrical training has helped me every step of the way, even in Star Wars now, which is great. So you never know how you've been training for 30 years for can help you in today's society.
No, then I would want to ask you are you then familiar with what's going on right now? Like you're aware like Cena's about to retire? Or
yeah, I'm very much aware of all that. I was very happy to see Matt Cardona come back as Zack Ryder.
Yeah, you saw that. Good.
Because I know Matt when he first started in the business.
Wow.
I did a couple of shows with him and Brian Myers. So I was very happy that they're showing homage to it. Personally, right now, I'm enjoying the content of WWE. I think that it's refreshing under Triple H because he, having been a worker himself, he knows about storylines. He knows how to milk the crowd, really. I'm not too much of a fan of AEW personally. I find it too indie-rific for my liking.
Yeah, it sounds like it's indie with a larger budget, maybe.
Basically, that's it. But the thing is that I like long-term storytelling.
Right.
We both grew up in the age of the 80s wrestling and the 90s, and it was long-form storytelling.
Right.
And then slowly but surely, they started feeding into what I like to call the ADD generation, which basically like your storyline might last a week, a month, a pay-per-view to pay-per-view. And it didn't mean anything. And unfortunately to me, AEW is that. They might start a big angle, and 3 weeks later, they're like, yeah, it's not working. We're not going to do it. They're not going to try to pivot. Where I see is that like Triple H and his writing team with like Bruce Pritchard and all of them are actively trying to say, okay, if this doesn't work, how can we save the angle before we crash it? Right. And I like that because it keeps you invested in the storyline. You're not going from spot to spot to spot. But listen, AEW has some really great wrestlers. I'm a big fan of Timeless Toni Storm.
Absolutely,
what she's done is amazing. Like MJF, he could not survive in the WWE system because they would water him down.
Right.
The PG era would water him down right off the bat. But, you never know. I mean, look at all the champions of WWE. They're all ex-AEW.
It's kind of crazy.
Literally right now, including NXT champions, are all AEW wrestlers. So it's kind of great with that. I love the fact that they're doing this whole big angle with TNA. So they're giving TNA a little bit of the push that
they're trying to make them the second most popular promotion.
Well, if you look at it, like back in the 90s, WWF and ECW, McMahon funded Heyman.
Pretty much.
So you're having the same sort of thing. But the fact is right now you got these two other, companies kind of feuding together and showing up. I mean, the best thing to come out of TNA in the last 10 years, which is honestly, let's just say it's affected pop culture, is Joe Hendry.
Right.
I mean, he's going to be he just signed. Right. He's going to be a massive star once he gets to the main roster.
Do you see him being bigger than just a gimmick, like a comedy relief, or you could?
I absolutely do see that. I mean, I'm hoping that they don't go like the Superman Cena like angle with him, like he just never loses. Right. But I think that if they keep him like with his whole gimmick and his shtick and allowing him to be him, but working with him, I think he could be a bigger star than he is right now. And he's already infected pop culture, which I haven't seen wrestling do that since the Yes movement with
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. It's there's a few. The Zack Ryder thing was great. I know like on Twitter he was actually calling fans that were buying his stuff on WWE shops. He's like, just send me your number, DM me your number, we'll get back to you. John Cena then is about to wrap it all up. I guess we're recording this when this final Raw is going to be tonight. And then maybe there's like a couple dates after that. Did you enjoy the heel turn and the coming back to the good side? Or
I liked the heel turn.
Yeah.
I think that unfortunately like the whole Travis Scott thing ruined it.
Right.
To the point where they had to, after a while people wanted to boo him, but after a while people wanted to cheer him. Ever since the NWO, being a heel is cool, Yeah. I think he just wanted to do it for the sake of doing it at the time. If he was going to do it, he should have done 10 years ago. So I think the execution probably was kind of weak. But hey, why not go for anything and everything? His match with Dominic Mysterio was fantastic a couple weeks ago. Did he need to win the IC title? No, but they made him a Grand Slam champion. Okay, great.
Sure.
And now if I was going to book it, I would have honestly had Miz win the whole thing. Yeah. And have Miz retire him, especially after the whole WrestleMania. He beat Cena in WrestleMania. He retired Cena. That would have been an incredible storyline for Miz going forward. And they obviously had him lose to Jey Uso last week. It was kind of like, okay, whatever. Obviously there's rumors that it could be Jericho as the guest tonight?
Or
is
Gunther.
It going to be Is it going to be Gunther? Is it going to be, Nick Nemeth or Dolph Ziggler? Who are they going to throw in there,
Right.
for that spot?
I feel it'd be someone that has a connection to Cena, because like Ryder has a connection to Cena and they
Yeah.
broke him out. So
I mean, I could see Jericho. I honestly could see Jericho being that. I could see Ziggler, or it could be someone like we don't expect at all. I mean, they obviously have their new relationship not only with AAA but also with New Japan and other things that anybody's there as long as the person could still work.
I see Jericho at the Rumble. I just feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they had a hot shot, Punk because of Rollins' injury,
right?
Because that was probably going to go through Mania,
right?
And now they just get a title on. So
see if it gets. Yeah, we'll see if Rollins gets back in time. Then a couple of things I want to touch on with you with WWE now. Like, do you like the TKO era in terms of the leadership? Because I know, like, I guess they're making a big thing about tickets. They're like so much more now than what they used to be, or no freebies for employees as much. It seems like you're making it almost like why people would go to AEWs, because like, well, I can't go. You're making these shows like UFC prices,
right? I mean, I'm enjoying the storyline content of it. I think that Hunter is the right person to be driving the ship after. I mean, I honestly felt McMahon lost his way years before all the issues came out.
Sure.
Like, I thought his storylines were weak. I thought the characterization, I thought that, giving people 3 minutes to work a full match was horrible. It was a waste of TV time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with what Hunter's doing there. I can go either way as far as the TKO era per se. Right. I like some of the stuff they're doing. I don't agree with a lot of political stuff that they're doing.
Sure.
But I understand the business behind it and the understanding about that. I don't agree with the fact that there's a Saudi Mania before London.
That's yes.
London should have had.
Or they're going to go like up to like 3 Saudi events a year.
But London should have had a Mania before Saudi Arabia. I understand the finances behind it. I get that.
It's like, isn't it like 50 times what a usual city would pay for Mania?
Yeah. And they're from what I've gathered, they're also trying to get like old timers to come back, which I'm scared because like, I mean, if you saw the match between Austin and KO a couple of years ago,
that was fine.
It was fine, but it had no build up. And honestly, that, Austin was blown up. Like, he was exhausted halfway through it. He was not in shape.
Right.
Owens carried him through, which was great. You gave the people the pop.
Sure.
But that was not a main event of WrestleMania.
I think the epitome then of like a Saudi show would be that one. I don't know if it was in Saudi when it was like Kane and Undertaker against Triple H and HBK when HBK
that was a horrible match. All of them, that was a match that all of them said, we don't want to ever talk about that because you thought there was 4 guys that can go into the ring today, and they asked the bed. Like, it was horrible.
Right. I mean, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna. I guess we'll see. I mean, then what's gonna happen with like those other like accompanying? I think AEW was gonna run a show the same weekend of WrestleMania for all the domestic promotions that want to congregate somewhere.
Oh, they'll absolutely do that because they usually do like a lot of indie companies do with WrestleCon around where Mania is, and like GCW and other companies do there, and they do a big convention and stuff. I'm sure they're not going to be going over to Saudi, so they'll do their own stuff over here and still do it. They'll just choose a random city as opposed to going to the home city of where they are.
Or they could go to London just to be like, hey, this is what we could do. Yep.
Why not?
Why not?
They have the world out there, but I think that they need to do something because some fans don't want to go to a WrestleMania. Some people don't care. I went to one in my life and I'm like, I'm good. I don't have to go again.
I know, like, I mean, Vegas isn't that far from me, but I feel like my opportunity was probably when they were in LA a couple of years ago. I probably could have gone to that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to say you went.
Right.
And, it's not something that I am like. The one I went to was 11. So I got to see LT versus Bam Bam Bigelow, as the main event. But I was like, I saw the spectacle and now it's completely different.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't like going to live shows anymore. It's lost its luster for me. I would rather sit at home and watch it on my TV. And if I don't want to watch it, great. I just found that I just was not enjoying even watching the shows live anymore. Whereas, like I said, going back to the Star Wars thing, it's been a new perspective, and it's been, I think, a healthier pastime for me than it was in wrestling.
Okay. Well, I've then one more selfish question about wrestling. My guy is LA Knight. Do you think we're ever going to see him as a world champion?
I would love to see him as a world champion, but the fact is that it's got to be a shotgun kind of scenario, almost like he wins Money in the Bank.
Right.
He's got the pop that, if you remember when Ziggler finally won the title,
right?
He's got that, and then Ziggler got hurt, and he never bounced back from that.
Right.
He's got to stay relevant and win like a Money in the Bank or a Rumble, to win it. I don't think, and it's got to be on not a pay-per-view. It's got to be a TV, like a Raw or SmackDown, where he wins the title. It's got to be something that, that's what I loved about it. Like in the 80s and 90s, you could watch Superstars or Raw and a title would change. Like a major title would change, not like the IC or the tag titles. I think that LA Knight is an organic wrestler that it would have to be on a Raw or a SmackDown for it to make sense, or even to appease the fans, or even if they did it on the night after Mania. Like, it's always a better show than Mania anyway. So
yeah, I could see him I'd maybe get like a Damian Priest length kind of like run or something. And then I'd be okay with that.
Honestly, I would throw him back, like the IC title for a while. He's definitely right now. He's not. I don't think he's in the main event status. Like, he's like on that cusp. It's like he could break through any minute now.
Right.
But as another IC run or a United States Championship run, I think would be good for him in the next run. But he needs to win one of those pay-per-view style matches in order to get him into contention that he'll be considered legitimate.
Sure. I can see that. Let's hope. Nice. But I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
You dummy. Oh yeah. All right. Good. So we have things to look forward to from Star Wars from you. Where are these like universes that you oversee? You said like ILM, or that was like a management thing you were saying, or
so when I was over at ILM, it was just basically a tour of that. I like the Virtual Cantina Network. I own the company for that. We are not affiliated with Lucasfilm or Disney or Reed Pop that runs Celebration. We are our own ancillary basically company at this point. Right now, we just finished up our year over at Rhode Island Comic-Con last weekend, which was a great event, and got to hang out with a lot of our friends that are actors. One of them was Brendan Wayne, who is the main guy in the suit for the Mandalorian. It's not Pedro. Pedro's the voice. So that was there, and he was there. Diana Lee Inosanto was there. Bryce Dallas Howard was there, so it was nice to actually talk with. I mean, her fathers and her uncle are legendary in the Hollywood world, but she's a phenomenal director and actress herself. And her husband, Seth Gable, is a great actor as well. I have nothing really on the horizon personally right now in the next 6 months, but I'm planning. We are going to be involved. We're going to be involved with Rebel ScumCon 3 next August in Frisco, Texas, which is about 20 minutes outside Dallas. We have a very good lineup. I'm very excited about the people we're bringing in for that. There's been some talk about some other events that we might do, but I'm also very deep in plans for LA 27. I mean, when we knew that they announce always the next location, the last day of convention, every celebration. So 23 was London. They announced 25 was Japan. So it's back to LA, United States for 27 for the 50th, which makes sense. So we're very, very excited about that. Our final dinner that night, we already knew it was LA. So we had a list after dinner, 20 locations that we were going to look into. A week later, we were into 5. A week later after that, I signed a contract and put a deposit down. So we will have our event, which we actually call Boonta Eve. Boonta Eve 5, the VCN Strikes Back, will be on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles in 2027. Location will be announced Black Friday weekend, 2026.
Okay.
So we're getting very excited about that. We always try to have the big event the night before the convention because we're fans as well. So we want to enjoy the convention, not have to worry about running an event, running from con. So we run the night before, and that way we could just enjoy con and not have to worry about having to run another show.
Oh, good. So find your parking spaces now for the Sunset Strip.
Yeah, because that parking lot behind that parking lot that I know that they have at this place, it's not that big. So you might want to Uber.
Or find a friend's driveway who lives south of Sunset, north of Santa Monica, and then you can just walk up the hill. Yeah,
but it's gonna be exciting. I'm very excited about that. I have a lot of big plans, and I'm utilizing a lot of the friendships and contacts that I've made over the last 10 years or so to help make this event as big as it possibly can. And that all goes back to, honestly, my theater training and my days back in Great Neck, running summer shows, at levels or full circle. It's basically the lessons I learned 30 some odd years ago, I'm putting into practice now. And it's nice. And it's also been great because a good friend of mine from the levels days lives up here in Boston. And he actually went to Japan with me. So basically I had someone from Great Neck travel to Japan with me to go to a Star Wars convention. So it always comes back home.
Yeah.
Like your man said, who says you can't go home?
Yeah.
You can go home. You
go home. Yeah. Yes, my man. Good. Then we finally did this. We're looking forward to a lot of different things. Absolutely. And we should encourage people to see The Running Man as well.
Please do. Please see The Running Man. It's going to be a sleeper hit, whether it does
the box office or not.
Or streaming, it's going to be one of those movies you're like, man, that was so freaking good. And it just go with no expectations. You can love the original. I still love the original.
Yeah.
But this movie is really, really good. And I think it's honestly, in my opinion, the best movie of the year.
Yeah. I see it as it hit me probably harder than a movie has 5 years.
Right.
Not even just the issues of it, but I just think, I think they built the momentum and the suspense and what the barriers and of the obstructions and to get through it all. Yeah.
It's great. And plus also Glen Powell is blowing up. I mean, he's going to be the next big action star for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Him and Gosling are going to go back and forth.
Good. Then this will be they'll do the next reboot of Batman versus Superman. Then we'll see that in 5 years.
Oh, great. Listen, I'm very interested to see what happens with James Gunn and how he continues to push the DC universe. After I saw Superman and I enjoyed it, but it's gonna be interesting how he's flushing that out to try to rival the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which they're already filming the next Avengers movie. So
oh wow,
with Robert Downey Jr. coming back. So
what?
Oh, he's Dr. Doom.
Oh, okay.
Instead of Iron Man. So they announced it at San Diego Comic-Con 2 years ago.
Gosh.
They basically had a whole bunch of people coming out in the Dr. Doom masks and the hoods.
Oh, I remember him and he revealed his face.
I was at that San Diego Con.
Wow.
But I wasn't braving Hall H. I refused to go into Hall H. I'm not going to do the overnights. I'm too old for that crap.
Oh, you've got to sleep overnight to get a spot.
Get a spot to go into that hall.
Wow.
For those big shows.
Wow.
So I just basically was walking the floor and all of a sudden the news on the floor was Robert Downey Jr. is now back and he's Dr. Doom. And my mind is like, okay, that's interesting, but I'll say judgment for when the movie comes out.
Yes. You'll probably pull it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Good times. Good. We'll be in touch. This was fun.
Absolutely. Evan, thank you so much for having me. I've been wanting to be on your show for a while now. So
no way. Good. Yeah. It's nice to have a fan. It's nice to have a friend.
You have a fan. It's great. No, your show is great. I enjoy, plus also I love keeping in contact and seeing what former classmates are up to, in life, because it's fascinating when you think about it. And, I still think of us as those kids that, like we were talking about, ran to the SCOBY, ran to the sleaze after doing a show, hanging out levels or, summer, people's houses over the summer or whatever. And now I'm like, well, I'm turning 50.
No, the 10-year, I went to the 10-year in West Village, and it was it was like people still trying to pretend they're either in college or high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like the 20 year was in like a bar, and everyone was like, it was like a speed dating catch up, and people asking each other about their parents.
Right.
And because we start to be like the age of our parents. And
Yeah.
then, and it's probably we're going to be the age of our parents when we meet at the 30 year. So I look forward to the 30 year. Kelly had a better time probably at my class than her class because she was a year older.
Right.
So hopefully there's a time where hopefully we'll both be able to make my 30 year, because I think her 20 year was kind of lame.
Well, I have to say is that your wife is still a legend in
That's right.
town of Great Neck. So
that's right. So yeah, we'll try to monetize that then. We'll see what happens.
I think you should have to do it, but I hope next time we're on the West Coast that we can all get together.
Yes, especially for the big Sunset Strip event.
Absolutely, sir.
All right. Good deal. We're gonna clip this up, send it out. Thanks for letting me be awkward. Well, not as much. We've kind of had a good time, so I didn't have to be